Well, welcome to Alcohol, Drugs, and Us. Welcome this evening. I'm Joseph McCray, registered nurse, and my wife Shawanda will be with us the fourth Thursday. So we got an exciting topic today to talk to you about, and that is Not Another Drink, Part 1. Not Another Drink, Part 1. So we want to get into the topic of alcohol tonight. We want to talk about alcohol. So I'm going to give you some time to come in because I do want to have, you a part of this, have some questions, some comments you have. Alcohol is very prevalent. It's a very popular substance. We consider it in the field of addiction treatment one of the worst substances people can get their hands on. And so I'm a nurse in the field, been in this field for somewhere around 27, 28 years of working with addiction to drugs and alcohol. And so I want to share tonight. I want to really share. I want to really give you some nuggets tonight about alcohol and what it does in the brain and a particular organ that it affects. And so I want to get right into it. So we know that it affects. And as you can see, it affects a lot of different parts of the brain. Alcohol is the one substance that affects so many parts of the brain. Contrary to other drugs, this is a substance that will go throughout that brain, turn on a whole lot of different things. And I got a great video that I want to show you of what alcohol does in the brain. And I'll show that in a little bit. But we know that alcohol has been around since about 8,000 BC, a long time, folks. And we know that one time it was illegal. It was illegal in the United States from the period of about 1920 to about 1933. And then our country decided to legalize it, decided to make it legal. And we've been having a time with this substance since we okayed it. And I just believe that someone has to share, someone has to talk about it, someone has to, make it known as far as what this substance does and give people some choices, give them the option to avoid it at all costs. Don't experiment with it just because it has so many dangers connected to it. And so I want to share even more about the substance of alcohol. We'll get into some slides about what alcohol is. And we say that alcohol is a depressant. We say that it slows down the nervous system, it slows it down. And in that process of slowing it down, you may not speak the same way, you may not walk the same way. All that may be changed as a result of alcohol being a depressant. But it's also a stimulant. People can really get a good feeling from it. They can get a great feeling from alcohol, and then it can relax folks. It can really put you in a relaxed mode, really give you that euphoria and that decreased anxiety. And so that's some of the things that alcohol does. I want to show you this video. I think this video really uh, will break down how alcohol sort of works in the brain. So let's just check this out.
Peanut butter and jam,
Mix.
rabbits and rockets,
Sorta mix.
but kids and alcohol.
Don't mix. Now let's see what happens when you introduce alcohol to this finely tuned system. To start, alcohol acts as an agonist or booster to certain chemicals in the brain's internal reward system. That's what can give people the relaxed feeling you may have heard about.
But alcohol also acts as an agonist to inhibitory neurotransmitters, increasing their ability to slow down brain functions. Simultaneously, it acts as an antagonist to excitatory neurotransmitters, decreasing their ability to stimulate brain activity.
You can probably guess what happens when you combine ramped up inhibitory neurotransmitters with dulled down excitatory neurotransmitters. All of your brain's different parts and functions become super slowed down, which can cause a wide range of physical, mental, and emotional effects.
For example, if too much alcohol hits your cerebellum, which is important for coordination, you might lose your balance and fall.
If alcohol impairs your hippocampus, where memories are made, you might have a hard time holding on to new information, like someone's name you just met, or where you left your phone.
And when alcohol hits your cerebral cortex, which has an important role in feelings and decisions, you may find it hard to control your emotions and get very sad or very angry for apparently no reason. Basically, as alcohol mixes with the different parts of your brain, it makes it a lot harder for them to do their specific jobs.
In time, these short-term effects of alcohol wear off as alcohol leaves the system, though a drinker may experience a sick feeling known as a hangover the next day.
But if a person continues drinking too much, it can have serious long-term effects. The brain will begin to chemically compensate for the way alcohol affects it, and in time will start to rely on alcohol to function normally. This can lead to dependency, addiction, and other serious health problems.
As a young person with a still developing brain, alcohol can have a stronger effect on you than on adults.
Learning the facts can help you make healthy decisions. So say yes to a healthy lifestyle and no to underage drinking.
To learn more, visit asklistenlearn.org.
Yeah, I thought that video really captured a big part of what alcohol does. And so, very informative. We'll get into some more about alcohol. But so, alcohol can sometimes put you in some really awkward spaces, right? I mean, besides making you feel euphoric, besides making you feel relaxed, sometimes people can really do some real awkward things under the influence of alcohol. And so that's a little bit of the history. I kind of talked about that. Interestingly, when alcohol was approved in 1933, 2 years later, Alcoholic Anonymous was formed. Alcoholic Anonymous was formed 2 years later, folks. So somebody realized we were going to have an issue, and they started a group to help people struggling with this substance. And take a little time to talk about what is an average drink. So an average drink is a 12-ounce can of beer, a 5-ounce glass of wine, and a 1.5-ounce glass of vodka. That's what's called an average drink. And so for a male, we can drink a little bit more than females just because of the water content in our body and the muscle tissue that allows reduces alcohol from being absorbed. So water and muscle is a big thing for men. So we can actually drink 2 of these beers, 2 of these glasses of wine, 2 of these 1.5-ounce glasses of vodka, whereas women cannot drink as much as far as their body makeup. But of course, women can have a high tolerance, meaning that their brain allows them to drink more before they can really feel the effect of alcohol. And an average drink is what you would drink per hour, because you do need to have your liver be able to break down alcohol, to be able to break it down so that it's safe. But if you drink faster than your liver can break down alcohol, you're going to get into a state of being intoxicated. So if you drink faster than the liver can break down alcohol, then you're going to be intoxicated. You're going to have some impairment there. And so you want to be careful with that. Now, there's a saying that, oh, well, it's just a will thing. People can just stop drinking. They can just make the decision, just give it up. It's a little bit more than your will. We do know that the brain is altered and changed with consistent alcohol drinking to the point where it has a dependence on alcohol. And when it's not there, people will have withdrawals. People will have withdrawals when you take alcohol away, depending on the amount of alcohol they've been drinking and the amount of time they've been drinking. So the brain is not well. So when you think of someone who is drinking or has difficulty stop drinking, do understand that their brain has been changed, that alcohol has changed the chemistry in the brain, and it makes it very difficult and challenging to just give up alcohol, a blackout. And this is what happens when you drink a lot of alcohol in a short period of time and you become quite intoxicated. You go beyond 0.08 intoxication, and now your brain is not able to store new memories. You may say and do things you don't know that you said or did. And when you come out of the blackout, when the alcohol level does come down, you have no recollection, folks. You don't remember anything that happened. And I'm not saying this because of a textbook. I'm saying it because as a teenager, I experienced a blackout. Okay. I experienced a blackout. I had a great friend who grabbed the recorder and taped it for me. And when I listened to it the next day, it was horrifying. It was totally horrifying. I couldn't believe the kind of things I said, the kind of things I did. And I had no recollection. The only way I knew that it happened was listening to that tape. And even listening to that tape, I couldn't believe the voice of that person because my speech was very slow. It sounded almost uh, like evil in some ways. It really was not me at all. So when people really do come out of themselves when they are under the influence, and that's what I always say about drugs and alcohol is that when you use them, you don't know who you are and you become someone else. And the people who are around you don't know who you are either. They're not sure who is this person. I started out with John, but now it looks like this is Fred. It's a whole nother person that evolves while you're under the influence of alcohol. And if you can testify to that, you can say amen. And that's how that works. And I was just sitting here thinking as myself, I start this show with a word of prayer, and I didn't got going, didn't say any prayer at all. Father, I just thank you for this opportunity to share. And may you bless the people in Jesus' name. Yeah. I always like to start with prayer. I just believe in the power of God, the power of prayer. So getting back to the blackout, continual alcohol use can get you into a place called addiction. And addiction is basically when you use the substance and your life can become unmanageable. It could become mildly unmanageable, moderately unmanageable, or severely unmanageable. But one of the biggest things that stand out with the definition of addiction is that you will still use the substance despite the consequences, despite the threats to your health, despite the issues with your relationships, despite the difficulties being able to do your job or go to school, uh, can land you in the place of the trap of addiction, folks. And so you do really, really want to be careful of using, drinking, and slowly, slowly slipping into the cage of addiction. Because at that point, it's very difficult to get out. It is possible, and people do turn it around, but you just don't even want to go there in the first place. Alcohol is considered a poison. It's considered a poison because of the liver, the way the liver responds to alcohol. It doesn't think it should be in the body, so it begins to break it down as quick as it can. But if you drink faster than what the liver can break down, you're going to have some impairment. You're going to start to, go out and maybe talk funny, walk funny, do a lot of different things as a result of the impact or the effects of alcohol. All right. So it brings me to the main topic that I wanted to get into, and that is the liver. The liver, right? Um, the liver is an incredible organ, and there's some fried liver there with some onions. And you ask yourself, well, why do we even eat liver? What's so important about liver? And what's so important about the liver is that it's rich in blood. From the cow, is rich in blood, and so we get a lot of iron. We get a lot of iron from liver, and it's no different in our bodies. The liver is rich in blood too because it stores blood. It stores blood and it acts as a reservoir in our body. And so we get a lot of iron from it, but it does some other functions. You can see it there, that red um, organ right below the lungs, the pink tissue up on the top, and then snugged in there is the heart. We also can see the intestines there. We see um, the stomach right below the liver. And then on the side there, we can see the spleen, which plays a role in our immune system. And so the liver, most people would say, hey, it's a filter. It's a filter. It cleans out things, gets stuff out of our body that shouldn't be in there, all that kind of stuff. And that would be absolutely correct. And it stores sugar. It stores sugar. There's times where we don't get a chance to eat, and we have that liver that is storing sugar for us. There's times where we fast, that people that go on long fasts and just drinking water, and the liver is in place to give us nutrition, give us sugar, give us energy, so that our cells can function. This is an incredible body. Our body is amazing what it does, and so that's a real big job of the liver to store sugar. So I like to say it's a factory. It's like a big old factory that is doing so many functions. I only talked about a few of them, uh, but it does so many things, the liver, and you cannot live without a liver. You cannot live without a liver. You have to have a liver. There's no machine that can do the job of the liver. The liver is to go bad, you will need a liver transplant. You have to get on the list for a transplant. So I want to show you this liver. I want to show you some changes in this liver. So that's my slide there, but I actually have a video of the liver. I want you to look at that. So you see how that liver is starting to get a little bumpy there, starting to get a little swollen. So this is what happens with cirrhosis of the liver. So with cirrhosis of the liver is under attack. It's under attack from alcohol. The toxicity of alcohol is causing that liver to get inflamed, to get swollen. And after it is inflamed and swollen like that, it heals as a scar tissue. So it heals as scar tissue. And that scar tissue is what we call a cirrhotic liver or cirrhosis of the liver. Okay. And cirrhosis of the liver happens in an individual who is drinking on a regular basis for about 10 years. Okay. The research says for about 10 years of drinking, and it happens in somewhere around 10 to 40% of the people who drink. So you could have two people in your house both drinking the same amount. One person gets cirrhosis, another person doesn't get cirrhosis. We're not sure why that is. It could be the genetic makeup of it. It could be how alcohol responds to your body, maybe different than how it responds to my body. But that is cirrhosis. I want to show you that again so you can see that, never forget it. So the liver changes. It gets inflamed. It gets hard. And what happens is that person will change too. So what many people will complain of is feeling very tired. They'll feel very tired. They feel like they have no energy when they have liver damage. And of course, like anything, there's stages. So if you've been drinking, I would encourage you to get to your doctor and ask them to do a liver test just to kind of see like where are you with your liver functioning. Um, could you be at a stage 1 liver damage? Could you be at a stage 2 liver damage, 3, and the worst stage of all of it is stage 4. And so and that's just a simple blood test that can give you an idea there. So people are very tired with this disease. They will have abdominal pain with cirrhosis of the liver. Uh, some other things that stand out with this, they'll get this really, really large belly, which is called ascites. Ascites, Ascites, and that is fluid. Here's the picture of the fluid. So that's fluid in the abdomen. That's fluid in the abdomen that has accumulated because now the liver is not able sort of to store blood like it should. So now sort of the water part or the plasma is seeping into your abdominal cavity. And people get these really large bellies, which is called ascites. You see the word there, ascites. And they'll have to get it drained off. They have to get the fluid drained off because what happens when they try to lay down, this water goes all to their lungs and it's very difficult for them to sleep or breathe. And then they will develop, you've seen jaundice, the yellowing of the skin and eyes. And this is the result of liver damage, unable to break down old red blood cells as they sort of lose their pigmentation. They turn yellow and the liver breaks them down. But when the liver is not functioning, they're just sort of floating all throughout the body. And people will complain of like really feeling itchy and irritated because of the jaundice. And so those are some of the things to consider with drinking alcohol. With drinking alcohol, and the night's topic is not another drink, part 1. And I know you might be saying, "Well, Joe, I drink. I don't really have a problem with it. I'm okay." Well, maybe you should try asking the people around you, what do they think? Because they may see some things about your drinking that you may not see, that you may be in denial about, right? You may be having a good time and really are not that aware of what alcohol could be doing to your body. And so tonight, just want to just give you a few nuggets about what alcohol is, how it's a depressant, how it has some calming effects to it. They even have some stimulating effects to it, how it affects so many parts of the brain. And more than anything, the organ outside of the brain, as far as what it damages, is how it damages the liver. That's the takeaway, how it damages the liver and how your life will be impacted as a result of that. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Alcohol, Drugs, and Us as we talk tonight. I say we, I'm so used to my wife being here. As I talk tonight about Not Another Drink, Part 1. So in 2 more weeks, I'll come back. We'll talk about some alcohol withdrawals. I'll talk about treatments for alcohol use disorder. And thank you. Share this video with individuals who you know may benefit from hearing about alcohol. Thanks again.